But does he have a right to not identify himself?
Yes,
100%.
He doesn't even have to identify himself to us.
He's doing a First Amendment right. He has a First Amendment right to record. There's nothing wrong with him recording. If you want to be recorded, you can go inside, away from the camera's view.
Is there a gun scene?
I don't know, ma'am.
You reported that there was a gun scene to us.
I don't know. I know one of our guys said he had his hand in his pocket, inside his bag, when they first seen him, and they didn't know if he had a gun or not.
Okay, well we're gonna reverse whoever called on that phone and figure out who's saying he has a gun. That's really important if people are calling in. That person.
Some female who works at the business, she just kept hanging up on us.
What female at your guys' business called us here for this kind of response? So we'll go inside and find out. This is ridiculous.
So everyone's calling and hanging up. That's why you get this many people here. And if you get a report of a gun, it's a criminal offense.
No, I know, but I'm just going to educate you on something.
That's fine.
You guys need to understand, we were actually all in Willow Glen.
Okay.
Yeah, and when we hear someone, whoever put it out, it was you just for this is knowledge.
I understand, sir. I was waiting patiently for an officer.
Yeah, let me finish. And someone says someone has a gun, we all come here doing 100 miles an hour on a freeway, zipping in and out, and any one of us can get cut off by somebody and do a donut and die, and we get here, and we can't even get anybody on the phone. So now I'm not blaming you, but people kept hanging up, and we're just trying to find out what's going on. We get a guy with a gun, we're going to come, because that's what we do.
And the person called 911 if PD doesn't get here soon.
And they said he had a gun, or did we think he had a gun?
Well, it is a gun.
We all did think he had something. We all thought he had a weapon.
And then if PD doesn't get here soon, we're calling the media.
So I don't know if they maybe were calling you guys too.
Like I said, I'm not pointing fingers.
No,
I'm
I'm
also
just saying.
because that's what
We've been
do.
receiving phone calls non-stop from.
For how long?
I don't know.
Whoever he's
What's your phone number?
Which phone number would you like, sir?
What's your cell?
My cell number is.
Is this guy been coming here a lot? The same guy?
We have no idea, sir.
What's the company number?
The company number is. He's on a live feed, so whoever he's talking to is constantly calling our office, so forth and so on, and so on. And as I say, all I asked for was to identify himself.
He doesn't have to.
Oh, okay. So it's okay with you.
Do you want to go restricted?
He kind of got his point. He got his point across, right?
If you say so.
We don't have her name at all. She just kept calling and hanging up on us. She might have been the one calling from, but I don't know. But she never gave her name.
Recording all of that, and we have to let it happen because it's a public space. The problem is, though, is that when someone calls 911 and hangs up when our call taker's trying to get more information, multiple hang-ups from this business. They keep trying to call back, we get hang up. So this is all the information we got, right? May not be you, but we just need one person to call and give all the information.
Which I did on myself.
I think the hang-ups were because we've been getting bombarded.
Potentially.
No, that wasn't what happened. I mean, like the phone is ringing
from their cell phone, right?
Oh.
Call 911 from your cell phone.
Yeah,
and stay on the phone all the time.
So let me ask. I'm sorry, ma'am. Ms. Rodriguez and so forth. If you're allowed to videotape, even though somebody has said that please stop videotaping, I have a personal thing that they have that ability.
Yes. You have no right to privacy in public.
I have no right to privacy
in public, in a public spot. If you don't want to be recorded, you can go inside,
Okay.
No
Thank you
reasonable
for that
expectation of
information,
privacy.
Officer Vega.
Yes, sir.
So it's like the same thing with a car, right? Your car's not tinted. A police officer walks by, looks in. They see
Right.
something.
If there's something
it's
on
no
it,
reasonable
it's-
expectation of privacy is what the legal term is, right?
Okay.
So you don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy out in public. There's cameras everywhere. Each one of us are recording.
I understand.
Yeah. So I mean, it's.
I hope I'm being okay.
No, that's fine. Absolutely. And for us, we get cell phones in our face, and we have to let it happen.
Okay.
We're in public.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for
He
the
may be up to
information,
something
Officer
weird.
Rodriguez.
It's suspicious, right? Why is he doing this? But it's not. He doesn't have to identify himself.
Doesn't have to identify himself. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you for that information. Do you need anything
Why
further,
do you
sir?
think?
No, that's going to be it. Thank you.
Why do you think he's here?
I have no idea, ma'am. He made some comment that he was investigating something and that I failed, and so forth. There's and then he tried to incite further from me, and
So
so
he sounds
forth.
like an auditor.
An auditor.
Yeah.
What exactly is that?
First Amendment auditor.
Okay.
So they like to go out, like I said, they want to go out and entice people into violating First Amendment rights.
Okay.
Like with us, they'll come to our police department and start recording us. An officer confronts them.
And
then
what is
they
their
start
what is their purpose? What's their motivation?
YouTube, likes on YouTube,
I see. Okay. So
lawsuits, civil lawsuits.
Okay. Okay.
Google it. Just look on YouTube. Look
Okay.
up First Amendment audit.
I usually try to stay away from social media.
No, YouTube.
I just saw
YouTube
Google.
or
Yeah,
any other
it is.
platform and
Just
so
look up
forth.
First Amendment audit, and you'll see a bunch of police officers and other people just recording. Right? Someone says, "Hey, I don't want you recording. I have every right to." Right?
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry.
know why he would be
I'm
doing that
sorry
to
for the amount of response.
Well, it's the report of a gun. Somebody
I understand.
said
that.
multiple times about a gun.
As I,
And then a school and children and
I understand that. As it wasn't me. I did call to dispatch and so forth and ask for an officer.
Yeah, and then you can totally do that. But
So
I hope my fellow partners gave you some knowledge.
I think
for the
she did
future.
well. I think she did well. So,
Okay. All right.
Questions or anything like that for us?
I'm sorry.
Any questions for us?
No, I guess I'll wait to see what the team obviously
Wants to do?
I say.
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
All right, we'll just stand by right here with you.
Right above Grand Tetons.
How far is the drive from you?
I think I was looking at it's about 18 hours.
18 hours?
Yeah, because you got to get all the way through Nevada and get across the Great Salt Lake and so forth, and then you head north on 15, and so we're towards the Idaho border.
They found his camera.
What?
They found his camera. Did you see if anyone took his camera from him?
I put my hand over it to get him to stop, so forth, and close. It had one of the little wings on it, and closed that. In attempt to close, he pulled back and it broke off the little mount.
And did
so
you
forth.
throw it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Because he was continuing videotape, he would just sit there and harbor on that and so forth. I did remove it from the scene.
Okay.
Yeah, because if he's on public property, he can pretty much record and do
Exactly.
whatever he wants. A lot of people do that at our police department, and there's really nothing that we can do. Right? So
Sorry,
same thing here.
it was
if
the
you were to come in here in your parking lot,
Yeah, he was
start knocking-
antagonizing and so forth, and I know but that was the only thing. After that,
What was he saying? Why was he recording? Did he say?
he refused to say anything.
Okay.
I asked him to identify. He told me it was none of my business. I asked him why he was recording and so forth, and he told me it was none of my business.
Yeah, especially he was on the sidewalk, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
yeah.
Yeah.
If he was like in the private lot right here,
Can I just see
you're
your driver's
definitely-
license one more time, please?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
because I'm not sure who she was in there, but she called us, called dispatch, let us know that there was a gun here. It created a
I walked in.
response.
I walked in and I overheard her talking to us, and I told her to back off and so forth. I had it under control.
Okay.
And so forth. And
Yeah, because that call taker was trying to call her back, but she wouldn't really pick up or kept calling up and hanging up. So it looked really bad.
No,
I think I had a really
I'd
urgent
gone
response.
in. I wouldn't have known any of this. I was standing outside, away from the gentleman, so forth, waiting for an officer to respond. And I went in. And I said, "Well, I'm going to go get a chair, since obviously it was." I was low priority.
Yeah.
And so forth, and that's when I overheard her making that statement. And I'm like, just back off. I've got it under control, and so forth. So
yeah, because it just looks.
I'm sorry she did that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything. I know.
Yeah.
You have your rules.
Yeah. Like I said, our response was very urgent.
I know. No, when the first dispatcher asked me if he had a weapon, I said I don't know, and so forth. I'm not allowed to search it. So, and that's how I left it.
Okay. What I'll okay. What I'll do is we'll just focus on come up with
Now, question: do you run my license to see if I have any outstanding or anything like that, or what is proper protocol?
They just the reason why we run people's license is just to verify that
who we're speaking to.
Well, and obviously, if you need to make a report, you need to obviously get that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what your standard protocol in something like this, whether I'm whether you're going to check to see if I have any outstanding or anything.
The records will do that as well, but typically, we run people out. Just
I haven't even had a parking ticket for about 6, 7, 8 years. So,
you guys don't have cameras that point that way?
No, ma'am.
Thanks.
That's the only video camera you have right there?
It doesn't hook. It's a phony.
It's a phony.
As it was hooked up years ago, and unfortunately, the old technology, the videotape, so forth, stopped running, and as we found that unfortunately, and I'm not trying to talk bad, but a lot of times you will only utilize the footage for certain instances, so forth. We had a theft in the middle of our parking lot, and the statement was that you weren't going to sit there and do the grainy videotape footage to try to identify who it was, and I understand that.
Yeah, because we don't have special technology that clears.
It's not. You don't have CSI.
It's nothing like that.
It's nothing like TV.
CSI, it's like
that you can blow up a grainy footage, and all of a sudden I can identify, how many moles they have on their face.
It's like whatever you guys record is what we see.
And so as I say, it became lower priority and so forth, and so as I say. When we found out it wasn't going to do anything as far as capturing a crime, it was just basically, as I believe the officer at the time said, was to just prove to the insurance company that a crime occurred.
Especially for insurance purposes, we see some kind of videos.
So we left it there as a deterrent.
Press charges because I don't know if you heard that. Because he broke the camera.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you right now. I didn't catch it, but because it wants to press charges. It's a site, right? Vandalism? Or was it going to be for? I think it'd be 594, just property.
Because the guy who's recording said that he broke his camera, he took it off and threw it. So he said he wanted to press charges.
No, it just might be that, but he's code 4 for now. I got his info, so if whatever I can.
I'll confirm with Miko if there's anything more.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So how long have you been working here for?
My sister and I own the business.
Oh, you own the business? Is it Peninsula thing?
Yes. My father started it back in 1976.
Is it like a construction business?
We supply operated, maintained cranes.
Oh,
maintained. And we also do high-tech moving of equipment. So like MRI machines, we install MRI machines. We do high-tech equipment like out at Intel. so forth.
The business must be booming because there's a lot of construction going on right now.
It's
especially out in the Bay Area. I see like
it's had a slow start. As I typically tell people, we're 6 months behind the boom and 6 months behind the bust. And so when COVID hit, we were very busy trying to get back to work because that was
This is the guy that he's saying, but like I said, as of right now, don't do any charges right now. He's still figuring everything out. But he said he's not free to leave right now. So just keep him here.
Yeah, for sure. Because
And then he'll update as far as any charges.
Okay. Yeah, I already told him he stay here. And
Did he say anything about breaking the camera?
yep. He admitted it.
because most of the people that are
We
going
have
out and getting
15 months
investment,
to press charges.
building
Yeah.
a building,
He admitted it,
they're
so
leveraging it out, 30 years and stuff like that.
I just asked him like what happened. He was like, I put my hand in front of this camera,
and so forth.
trying to tell him to stop recording. And I was like, oh, what did you throw it? He was like, I threw it at the scene. I was like, okay.
It gets more expensive and they have to bring the benefits back.
Or he threw the camera?
Although I did read something in the Merck.
I think it's just trying to confirm. Make sure that
that business investment, office buildings, despite of hybrid,
It's a bag?
They're separating him from his bag.
there
The
was a
other
large
officer was
investment
in charge.
in that. So forth.
They had me.
If it's his, if he's claiming it, that's
I think
his.
a
It's his,
little bit
but
of
the
that
officer that was here
is going to do, but most of the stuff downtown, J. Paul has.
Oh, thinking that was had the gun in there or something?
What is that?
It's all his cameras, but we haven't touched it, or no one's
So J. Paul also has the
I mean, if he's claiming it,
Park Center
or if
Plaza.
we have a reason to believe that there might be a gun in there, then we can search it,
across the
but
street,
if
took down the old courthouse,
there's no other reason, then
and so forth, and all
it's
those
just
buildings
consent to
that
ask.
between
All that
Probably gonna
Vega,
say no.
all that Vega, know that.
Almaden and San Fernando, that's all under, it was all Park Center Plaza with that parking structure.
Just cited him.
That's all getting
that's
demoed
what it
and
was
then
gonna
repurposed as office structure. I'm sorry, sir. It's owned by J. Paul. J. Paul is the large investor out of LA. Whether or not they will re-rent back to Google is obviously is no one knows.
Yeah,
Google tends to like to purchase their own property and then so forth. They own a lot of stuff over by the SAP. As you may or may not know, they purchased all of the properties like Stevens Meads and the old KNTVU and the fire training center.
I thought you meant
That was all part of that when San Jose was trying to move the Giants into San Jose, so forth. And so I believe San Jose last year sold all those properties that they had obtained and so forth to back. That's why they moved the Poorhouse Bistro, because that, I think, property was sitting on Google land. So the Poorhouse Bistro used to be on, what is that, Montgomery?
Okay, so towards the 101.
Towards the SAP, between San Carlos over, they just moved that over to Little Italy and so forth. But I believe that land, because that was I don't know if it was deemed a historic house, but they moved it over to Little Italy next to, Henry's High Life, and I forget what the Italian restaurant that's in there.
Yeah, I know Henry.
Paisanos or something like that. I've never, I've been to Henry's High Life a while ago, but I've never frequented the other spots. But Google owns all of that, so in fact, the fire training center is what they're building down here next to the city courtyard. And so they're obviously moving out of that location, so forth, because Google owns all of that. When they will, start demoing building, who knows? I mean, that's up for them to do. I mean, they just spent a large deal out at Moffett Field, so for that whole spot behind Moffett Field was all in the Google campus. So that's for them to decide.
Maybe I can break off. I can go over there, but then I'll be the only unit.
I have to ask. You all have the similar pens except for her. She doesn't like the gel pen. Apparently.
Yeah, I personally like writing with this one because
That's
it's
a
very,
gel pen.
It's a pen. It's a 0.5, and like I just write. Really,
And so
it's
forth.
fine.
And this gentleman here has two of the same. So obviously their company, their department issued. And
No,
so forth.
these are department issued ones right here.
But this officer here is sparking the trend. She likes.
This one's department issue. These ones are not department
Oh, they're not department issues, but they're like proper
This
uniform.
is what the department gives us.
Yeah.
Or the gel pens.
Oh, yeah, this one too. This one too. They
And
give us
saying,
these.
so you obviously have a choice of gel or regular ink.
It's not really gel,
And so
but yeah.
I don't like that because I can't fit two. Do you fit two in there? Oh, but not the same.
These? No.
I want it to match.
I say, unfortunately, with the gel pens, they have such a small ball. If you press really hard on something, it probably rips the paper.
Yeah, and
if you're doing like a multi-sheet.
Yeah, because
and
usually
so
our
forth.
forms always have more than like 2 sheets, right? It's always
And
like
so you
5
got,
copies.
so you have to be careful trying to press too hard on it.
Yeah, especially if you don't push hard enough, it doesn't go through all of them, and it's like really hard to read. So these regular pens perfect for those papers, and then this one is just note taking. So I have 2 different pens.
So
Can you go and I can ask my check with you?
yeah. Well, I heard Sarge says he's gonna give Fire a call. So we'll see if he reports with anything. And if he doesn't in like a few minutes, then we'll. If you want to ask your FTO, we'll go.
Is it a middle school or elementary?
I'll go to that too.
Okay.
I'll do that.
We're good. We're good here.